This video is sponsored by Buddy Tools. Stay tuned to learn more about them and how you can win some of their great products. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. So before we kick things off, I just want to introduce the newest member of our family. Her name is Peppers. She's a little troublemaker, and you're going to be seeing a lot of her in this video, but rest assured, I kept her nice and safe and away from the power tools, but she's always sniffing around, getting into things, but here she is. She's doing good, and she's the project manager. She makes sure I'm staying on track. Also, stay tuned because near the end of the video, I'm going to be going over how to win the suite of Buddy Tools. So enjoy, and I will see you then. So I just want to start off by saying thanks. I put out a survey recently going over what format to use for these videos, and natural sounds with a voiceover was a clear winner. So that's what we're going to go with, and that's going to help with the copyright claims as well, because I won't be using any music. So the channel is doing good, looking good. So we're just gonna press on and keep going. So where I left things in the last kitchen remodel, it was more or less a band-aid just to more or less get it looking really nice while I work on other parts of the house, and I'll just go back to it one day. And now it is that day, and as you can see, there are a lot of defects, a lot of little nooks and crannies that are looking rough, and just basic amateur level workmanship. So it was up to two variables: either mend what's there or tear it all out and start from scratch and do it right and get new cabinets. And the second choice was ultimately the winner, because there's a smell to these cabinets that I just don't think is gonna ever go away, no matter how many times you clean them, disinfect them, or kind of just spray them with whatever cleaning solution that claims to be able to fix that. Here's a old cutting board that still in there. I'm not sure how long. If I had to guess, this was a early 80s remodel of the kitchen. The house is very old. I'm not too sure. I did find some evidence that it is close to being 100 years old. I found a newspaper clipping embedded into the wall that was from the late 20s. So it's got some age to it. But all in all, the construction of these cabinets was still, high quality. They were built in place however long ago, late 70s, early 80s. So they were still holding up. They're just a little moldy on some of the shadow areas that you don't normally see. And it was just time to go. And per usual, things like this, like you do little by little and then clean as you go. And it's a little naive to think like, you can kind of keep that mess to a minimum and keep it from going into other parts of the house. But as I'll soon find out, and already know, it's wishful thinking. That's not going to happen. But yeah, the cabinets were a little tough to get out. They were just held in with like 10 screws per panel. I don't know, and they were all flathead screws, so it was just kind of annoying. But eventually got those out, and then now I'm moving on to the drywall. And originally, this drywall that I put in a previous episode, that was easy enough to remove. But the parts behind it was plaster and lath, and you can see some of it there is held together by like a chicken wire kind of material. And I've noticed they've done that in a couple spots, I guess to just reinforce the plaster, but it is such a pain to get out. It is just very, very difficult to work with. You scratch your hands, even if you're wearing gloves. It's just so sharp, and just held on by 100 screws that just kind of sink into the plaster, and you can't find them, so you're just yanking on it, and it's a mess. But the plaster is it is old school horsehair plaster, so if you're doing a similar project, always wear a mask. And I have a fan set up to create like a negative pressure in the room, just to blow air out while sucking in new air from a different part of the house. and that kind of keeps the tinier particles from seeping their way into the rest of the house. And then I also have a blanket that separates the kitchen and the living room. But the laundry room has no protection. It's just getting coated with dust. It looks like it snowed in there, but if for longtime viewers, that switch I just removed, that was actually from the basement workshop I did a couple years ago. I bought that specifically for the workshop, and then when I had to move, I just took it with me because it's a nice switch. It's you can run it off of Google or Alexa, and it's just cool. It's nice, quick, cheap, easy little way to add some smart lighting. So this is the soffit or bulkhead, whatever you want to call it. I originally was going to keep that, but it's just got to go. The cabinets, the upper cabinets I got for over the stove to hug the microwave, they'll come down too far if I leave that there. And I can't remove just parts of it. The whole thing's got to go. And as you can see, there was a gas line in there. It's a great place to hide things like wires and lights and, gas lines and hot water lines. And I had it all. Luckily, the hot water line there was retired. The gas line was removed a couple episodes ago when I was working on something else. It was feeding a gas stove that was upstairs. Really just a weird house to begin with. But as you shed the layers, you discover more, and it's cool to sort of peel these away and discover interesting things. Like there used to be a door where that insulation is sticking out. There used to be a window to the left of the window, and I have no idea when that was changed, but it's cool. It's like a cool onion that you live in, and if it's old enough, it smells like an onion too. But yeah, the soffit's gone. Most of the lath and plaster is now gone, and my poor little trash can, it is getting the brunt of the removal, and I just started piling it up on my my back porch there, hoping that it doesn't get too bad. But I'll show at the end of the video just how bad it got with all the debris. It was piled high. I ended up getting a dumpster to take care of it all. But yeah, here I am addressing some old rotted boards that just sort of fell apart, and inspecting the gas line, inspecting what else is down there, and just taking some photos. It's not looking too good, but I will address that later. For now, I got to remove the rest of this plaster and whatever else was behind it. Unfortunately, it was more of that chicken wire. I know there's a proper name for it. I just don't know what it is. And it's just kind of mixed in there. So I'm just moving all over the place, just looking for where it's not so I can take care of that first. And luckily, they didn't have it in the soffit, so that came down pretty easily. And there you can see the fan that's sort of blowing dust out into the rest of the neighborhood. So it's their problem, not mine. But yeah, just more cleaning, more removal, more cleaning, more removal. And you're probably thinking like I'm really damaging these floors, but I'm sort of doing this slowly and carefully to try to salvage what I can, because although the floor unfortunately was popping up all over the place in the past 2 years since the last time I worked on this house, or last time I installed the floor. From the day I installed it until now, just some of the seams started popping, and I was told that it's a common occurrence in older homes that shift and move and sway with the times. But I'm just going to start peeling them away more and more as I work, and just sort of be careful not to scratch them. They're tough. It's a nice floor from what I see. It was inexpensive, but at the same time, decent quality. And right here, I'm just sort of fiddling with the plumbing and trying to be careful not to mess anything up, because underneath the kitchen here is it's a pretty tight crawl space. I'm not really looking to go down there for any reason. Unfortunately, I do have to go down there later in the video, but at this point, I was still thinking to myself, like, I might be able to get away with not crawling through there. But I unfortunately had a leak in the bathroom. completely unrelated to this, and then I had ended up getting a leak in one of those lines. So I gotta get to that wire and feed it up through the floor. Look what I found. That's some nasty water. Great. And here is, speaking of plumbing, this used to be the drain line for the sink upstairs. Because if you watch the walkthrough of when I bought the house, there was a makeshift kitchen on the second floor. That was taken out a long time ago, so that pipe was just sort of still there, just needed removed. And that is the opening for the old vent, the range hood vent that was there prior to when I bought the house. So off camera, I ended up finding a piece of wood that wedged in there nicely, and then I duct taped it just to keep the bees out, because there's always bees running around in the backyard. And yeah, filled it with a piece of wood and then some spray foam insulation. But from here, it is just a matter of continuing the removal of the lath. And I always hate doing things like this because I feel like I'm really prone to just getting stuff in my eye. And throughout this whole thing, I hate looking up to do this because like every few minutes I gotta stop and get something out of my eye, and it was just annoying. But it was more chicken wire up there, which was really annoying. So I got my handy Evolution saw. We've seen them in prior videos. They've sent me a couple saws now, and I just love them. I had to leave to get some fresh air and get the stuff out of my eye there. But after I made the cut through all that, the plaster, the lath, the chicken wire, arms were a little tired, but it was an easy way to make that clean cut along one of the joists or the rafters, whatever you want to call it. So all I have to do is basically find a piece of drywall that fits in there, and it'll be good to go. It won't be floating. So now I'm moving on to the outlets, and these boards. So this obviously is not traditional framing, but these boards are thick. They're about 2 inches thick, and the outlet boxes are also about 2 inches thick, which is not necessarily as deep as I'd like them to be. So where I placed them was specifically placed behind it's going to be behind the backsplash. That way the drywall and the backsplash tile will bring it out to a space where the outlets and switches will have some breathing room. So now it is time to deal with this gas line. And anytime you're working with gas, well, actually, just don't work with gas. Hire an actual professional who knows what they're doing and who can pressure test their work. I didn't show this because I just don't have a pressure tester. I had somebody else do it for me. There's a pipe, the pipe that's sticking up out of the ground there, that's too tall. But that was just the pipe I had at the time. I had to move it a little further down, and that was the pipe I ended up using. But I wanted to try to get everything fitted at least to see where it was popping up out of the floor. And yeah, I'll put the tool up on screen. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's how you make sure your lines are good to go. So you sort of set them, you pressure test them overnight, and if the gauge doesn't drop, it's good. And that's what I did here. Again, that pipe that's sticking out, that's not the final product. I just wanted to close that up so I can walk around and not fall through and not have my cats meander down in there. They like to snoop, and that was prime real estate for snooping. So just temporarily closing that up. And then here is just some weird wiring that I found that just needed to be addressed. I retired another knob and tube junction that I found, and then rerouted the power from one of those switches to be a light for the back porch, and that ended up working out really well. That conduit is older, but it's still good. It's still useful. The interior wires look fairly new. It's not like the much older stuff. So it was able to be salvaged, and then the gas line was finished up. And then here is the house wrap that I ended up going with. I consulted my brother on this one, who is an actual professional. I I don't pretend to know what I'm doing as these videos obviously show, but he actually recommended this because it's going to give the wood and the drywall the best chance at resisting mold while promoting breathability. If I just did a plastic vapor barrier with that type of framing, it wouldn't have worked out. So this is the route I ended up taking, and I think it's going to work out well. I think this was the way to go. And now that that's done, I just got to start peeling away some of these floorboards a little more and get them out of the way for when the cabinets start getting put in and installed. I'm not installing them myself. The dealer that I went with actually does the install, which is going to be really nice. The final touch here is just bringing the floor up to be level with the old linoleum that's there. That yellow floor is, it was at one point a nice linoleum, but they put glue on it when they carpeted the kitchen. One of the earlier videos I have of the kitchen showed that carpet, and it was nasty, but right now the only thing left is the carpet glue. So now it is time for the drywall, and this was kind of funny, not at the time, but now looking at it, it's kind of funny. My head went right through that drywall as I was trying to hold it in place because I forgot about that gap that was in the wall, and but that's okay because that's where the microwave is going to go, so it's going to cover that up. But I finally have a laser level now, so that's cool. Although it's not even close to the drywall seam, but it's nice to at least have a guide to see where I'm going, because until now I have never had a laser level. So here is the purple drywall. It's the mold resistant stuff. Sometimes it's green, but this is stuff that you got to put down anytime there's a sink. I don't know if you need to put it in the entire kitchen or, behind a fridge, but for now I think it'll be fine with just being behind the sink, because the fridge doesn't produce water, I guess. I don't know. As always, I'm always looking for input in the comments, so you guys let me know how I can improve, because that is a point of doing all this, getting constructive criticism, and I really appreciate it. You guys really know your stuff. I'm still learning. Why I'm putting it on YouTube, I don't know. I'm just opening it up for criticism, but at the same time, it is fun to watch these videos, and you learn a lot, and it's fun to be handy and do these things and learn along the way. And here's one of those great opportunities to learn. I didn't do that right. I mean, I'm not really doing anything right, but this drywall, it was kind of off level. One of the boards shifted as I was drilling it in, but you learn. You take it down, you redo it, and it's okay. And that ended up being the only drywall I put on the ceiling, because that's actually the only place where I'm going to have upper cabinets. So I wanted to get that up in the meantime, because I still had a little bit of wiring to do for the overhead lights that'll be over the sink. But this is ready for cabinets, and man, I'm excited. It's going to be so nice to have like a clean, orderly new kitchen to just hang out in and cook and just enjoy. And it's been a lot of hard work, but it's absolutely worth it. So this is part one. I appreciate you guys watching this far, but it is now time to talk about the giveaway. I'm really excited. So Buddy Tools reached out and said they want to partner up, and I did not hesitate for a minute, because you've seen me use the Tape Buddy in the past, and I really, really enjoy using that thing. I'm going to be using it for this drywall as well. But now I'm going to have my hands on a couple of their other tools, and the entire suite of what they offer is going to be given away in part 2 of this kitchen remodel. So while this one is live and active, and while I finish the kitchen, you guys are going to be able to enter to win this giveaway. Again, this is Buddy Tools. Fantastic for drywall finishing and just generally making life easier when working on drywall. So look forward to that. I'll have instructions in the description and the comment section of this video on what to do, where to go, because I know not everyone has certain social media platforms. So regardless, you guys are going to be able to see what's going on. And yeah, I really appreciate your time and your support so far. and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks.